Hey, Shalom, Arkim, this is Rakam Akapash from GMS London, giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bashem Chakwadash. I want to give double honors unto the elders, the apostles of GMS, and Shalom out there to the hopeful elect, pushing this truth in all sincerity. Back again with another video, and this video is inspired by this article here, that I saw maybe a few days ago, maybe a week or so, right, where it states here that, well, it says it in the title, right? Trump made more than $1 billion on crypto deals, part of 2025 windfall. The president also brought in vast sums of licensing and legal settlements, according to an annual disclosure, right? And basically, this video is going to be basically be about your leaders, right? Esau, the elites, and the semi-elites or whatever. They don't care about you. They don't care about nobody. Right, they're there to make money, cash money, baby. Right, they don't care about people, the plight of the citizens of America or any of these nations. They don't care, right? And you people still think that you've just changed the guy in power, that things are gonna change. They don't care. They don't care, man. They're there for themselves, all of them, right? They don't care about what how they're negatively gonna affect you. They don't care, right? These men are selfish. These men are demons, right? They don't care about the people that they're ruling over. None of them, right? None of them are genuine. None of them are sincere, right? They will run you down into the ground, and that's good. And that's what they're doing, right? These men are always okay, always okay. Money's always coming in. They're always ahead of the curve, right? You now know every man is suffering out here, suffering more on a daily basis, right? Trump, orders Iran to get struck. The Strait closes. Does it affect Trump? No. he ain't worried about no gas prices. He ain't worried. No, everybody else has to suffer. Everybody else, man, don't care. He's getting paid. He's getting paid even in the midst of that. As you see here, 1 billion. This guy is just making more money. You'd think, because I remember when he came into office the first time, he had to do something with his businesses because he couldn't. I swear he had to sign over his businesses to because he couldn't, officially run them and be in Parliament. I'm sure I remember something like that, right? So you'd think he'd be earning less money, right? But no, these men are making more money, right? Because they get to dictate all the policies and all the things that are gonna basically hit, right? And he can get in there early because he's gonna pass those legislations to make them really pop off. And like I said, they're ahead of the curve. They can invest, right? Of course, it's gonna go up, right? With all these investments going into it, So yeah, he's made tons of money, man, and he already rich. He already a rich man, right? But the average American is suffering through all these policies, right? They're not set up to take care of the American public, right? I know that's what you thought, because he's gonna make America great again. But let's be honest, is it better? Is America better? Is it a better place under Trump? No, it's not. Are the stocks booming? Yes, they are. Are the American people booming? No, right? So that will tell you that only those that are in these mega corporations, right, are benefiting from what Trump is doing, right? These elites that are making billions upon billions of dollars. The average person is, like I said, suffering, right? And that's what he's there to do. Him and his friends, those that financed him to run for office and that, yeah, them men are getting paid. Them men are being looked after, and in their eyes, America's hasn't been better, right? There's all this money flying around. Yeah, it's great, but not to the American people. It ain't going to you. It ain't going to you. Okay, things are the worst they've ever been, right? So, it should be obvious what's happening. But there's people still out there want to believe in politicians, want to believe in Trump. They're all liars, man. Okay, they're all out there for themselves. All right. So just read. I can't see the whole article in it, so yeah, it's mostly in the title. We'll get to scriptures, right? But it says President Trump's forays into cryptocurrency delivered him a windfall of more than $1 billion last year, according to his latest financial disclosure report. An unprecedented surge in income. Unprecedented. So here is America is like unprecedentedly poor right now. The average American, right? They're struggling with jobs, with wages, and all these different types of things. But he's experiencing the opposite to everybody else. And those around him are experiencing the opposite of what the average American is experiencing. Why is that? When he's meant to be, he was put in office to help you, to help the average American out. Because that's what he said he's going to do, right? He's going to bring back the jobs. He put all these fucking tariffs. He did the tariffs, right? Oh yeah, American people, we're gonna get this money. You're gonna be richer than you ever been. Blah 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 blah. You have so much money, you won't know what to do with it. All this crap he was saying. But where has that materialized? How has that manifested in reality? It hasn't. But these guys, they're making more money than ever. So it is manifesting for somebody. It just ain't the average American. So from straight off the bat, you should know that these men are corrupt. These men are totally corrupt. But just like every other leader, it doesn't really matter. It didn't have to be Trump, right? All of them, they're corrupt, right? Because they don't care about their own people. It's really as straightforward as that. All right, this is an unprecedented surge in income that came alongside earnings, it's additional, right, from royalty deals, real estate, and legal settlements. Trump and his family invested heavily into crypto businesses during the first year of his second term. That isn't generating on paper wealth, but real world profit. All right, so that's all I can see. So these guys are making paper, where the average American's not. Right, but apparently America's okay. It's doing better than ever. Yeah, well, some things don't add up, right? So let's jump into the scriptures anyway, right? So starting here with Joel 15, it says verse 34, it says, "For the congregation of hypocrites shall be desolate, and fire shall consume the tabernacles of bribery." I said, these men are just corrupt. They men are doing dodgy deals. They men are thieving land. They men are starting wars, killing people. They're having a time of their life because, Esau likes to do these things, right? But they're destroying people's economies, including their own. And I say their economies, if you ask Trump, he'll tell you, oh yeah, but the stocks is booming. The S&P and whatever, NASDAQ, whatever, right? And they're doing better than ever. Yeah, but what about the people? The majority of people in America, are they booming? No. The answer is no. Alright, they're not booming. Right, so the economy is not really doing well at all. A few men in America are doing well. Alright. They conceive mischief and bring forth vanity, and their belly prepareth deceit. And this is why when you listen to this dude, this guy does nothing but lie. Like, every word almost that comes out of his mouth is a damn lie. Right? And it's just habitual at this point. Right? He can't help but tell a lie. And I was about to say a good lie. But they just really enjoy telling lies and spinning stories that are not real. But they're not even good lies. It doesn't even take very long to look to see through the lie. They're bad. It's terrible, really. But people, the Americans, even people around the world, they're just are made to eat it. Because what else can they do? What are you gonna do about it? These men ain't gonna do nothing about it. But yeah, Trump is a terrible liar, right? But he's so bold faced with it though. You feel like he's telling the truth. Because there's no shame there. There's no shame there whatsoever, man. No shame whatsoever. Like Nigel Farage. No shame. All right. But yeah, these men are just totally corrupt, man. They're not here looking after their people. Right? They're looking after the wealthy, the elites, because that's what they're set up to do. Right? This is Psalm 73, verse 12 says, "Behold, these are the ungodly who prosper in the world. They increase in riches." Because it's hard for the average person to increase in riches because you're getting taxed the hell out of, man. Even these token wage increases that we receive, bro, it's being eaten away by taxes. It like nothing. It don't mean anything. Yeah, you get a pay rise, but the taxes go up, or you hit a new bracket now, so you're paying more taxes, or there's more tax on the food, there's more tax on the gas, tax for every damn fucking thing, and so it's like your pay rise don't mean nothing. But these guys, nah, they're gonna make a clear billion, like nothing. No, they ain't gonna worry about that. It ain't subject to tax. You know, these like, you know, Starbucks or whatever, Amazon, man are paying low taxes, escaping tax completely. They just making clear money. And then they got the cheek to tell you, oh, we can't, you know, we don't want to pay for workers anymore. So they sack a bunch of workers and buy a bunch of machines and AI, saying, oh, we want to, you know, run it more efficiently or whatever. You can afford to pay these people, man, and wait and raise their income, but you don't want to do that. It's wicked. It's hella wicked, man. These men have got so much money and they don't want to pay people right, man. And your government just stifles you, man. Right? You hit them glass ceilings quick. Right? And that's why there's not really a middle class anymore, anywhere, right? You're either rich or you're poor. That is it. Right? These wages where a man could earn 120k is not a rich man anymore. Right? They're amongst the poor. Let's be real, because like I said, them taxes are kicking the shit out of those guys that are earning, you know, that upper rate. Right? Yeah, he's doing better off than someone that's earning 30, but you're still in that bottom, you know, half where you're basically poor. You're pretty much poor because you're getting hit with all kinds of taxes, man. You're not really earning that much, and everything's gone up around you because of inflation. Because these men just continuously print fucking dollars every day, right? So you can't really afford things, or you still can't afford things. So it's like you're already just poor, whether you earn 30 or 120k a year or whatever, right? You're still poor. You try and earn $1 billion, bro, it's not happening. But these men could just earn $1 billion and it's nothing. You know? But you try and work your way up the corporate and you try and get more and more money. Yeah, you get to 120. Oh, I want to push to 140, 150. Bro, those taxes are going to kick your ass, man. You'll be working those extra. You're effectively working for free. You're almost working for free. You know, because you ain't even getting most of your wages anymore. It's like, what's the point? I mean, yeah, you're earning a little bit more, obviously, but it's like, bro, you're being stifled, man. Right? But these guys get to make clear money, man. It's just, yeah, million here, billion there. Man, I get bonuses and they just get bonuses, bro. It's like a lot of these guys are not even worrying about taxes. You know what I mean? But you, as a average worker, bro, it's like you can't make that jump from poor to rich. You can't. It won't happen, right? Unless you're insider, it's not happening. All right. So behold, these are the ungodly who prosper in the world. They increase in riches. They increase. Okay, you get more money, you getting taxed more, man. You ain't increasing. You staying where you is. Right, and that's how it's set up. Because the rich they can get around all these rules and regulations that they set in place. Because they men are already rich. Because it's always rich people making these policies, so it never really affects them. It affects people wanting to be rich, or wanting to be well off or whatever, try and make better life for themselves. But yeah, you man get to stay down there basically. We already up there. We gotta stay up here, but you gonna stay down there. This is Micah chapter 6 verse 12. Yeah, for the rich men they are full of violence. Pardon me. And the inhabitants there have spoken lies. Like I said, Trump just a serial liar, man. But they all lie. So it's not like he's a special case. He's just the most bold with it, man. He's just so blatantly lying. He's not even trying to cover up the fact that he's lying. He just says some wild ass shit, and you just like, what the fuck? And then he gets away with it. The American people should be like super angry, man. Even his own supporters, they should be super angry, man. You know, you know, I'm not, not gonna condone them doing things, but someone should, you know. But then that all plays into their hands too, man. If they get these certain dudes with these assassination attempts or whatever, that all plays into Esau's hands as well. You know, to set up more more militarized presence. You know, gun control, all these different types of things. That all plays into Esau's hands. So yeah, it's like he's done on purpose. He's there to lie into your face, right? To piss you off because you know he's lying, right? And then you lose your shit, all right? Want to do something because no one else is doing anything, and then yeah, you're on CNBC, with a mugshot if you didn't get taken down in the process of doing something crazy. Again, like I said that plays into their hand too. They want that to happen. All these attempts on man's lives and all these different types of things. They want that. It's like they're purposely stressing you out and pissing you off, man, and mugging you off, right? And some man can't take it. I don't blame them. But again, this is all part of prophecy, man. So these things are supposed to happen. Even if it's staged, it's like people like would logically come to the conclusion there that he had a point, right? Even if it was staged, it's like yeah, there's people out there that feel like that though. They want to do something, but they're not ready to make that jump. But yeah. So again, for the rich men, they are full of violence, and the inhabitants thereof have spoken lies, and their tongue is deceitful in their mouth. All right. What else is there? All right. So yeah, them men are just speaking hella lies, man. Acting like, oh, they're here to serve us and to help us. No, they ain't. No, they ain't. This is Sirach chapter 10, verse. I'll just get a point on verse 3, right? So, an unwise king destroyeth his people, right? You can't tell me that the things that Trump is doing isn't a negative for America. You can't tell me that these leaders of all these other countries, what they're doing isn't a negative for their nations. It's the same in the UK. Like I say, it doesn't matter who's in power or how much someone seems like they're fighting for your cause, bro. Things are getting worse. Why are they not getting better? Because they're not meant to be getting better. They're not meant to be helping, solving problems. They're not here to solve problems. They're here to create problems, right? Because the solution is total control, right? The solution is new world order, settings. So, right. So they're here to make things worse. All right, so an unwise king destroy his people. That's what's happening. People are being destroyed. Okay, people being pushed further into poverty, illness, suicide, all these different types of things. He's destroying people, man. People got livelihoods and families to feed. And man's just like, too bad, we're gonna sack bare people, thousands of people, because we want to replace you with AI. It's like, bro, where's your humanity? It don't exist. These men ain't got no humanity, bro. But Esau talk about humanity like he believes in it, right? Because Trump won't stop them. Because Trump is also backing the AI and all this tech, or all these tech companies, right? He ain't doing nothing to save your jobs. Oh, we're gonna bring the jobs back from China. Where are these jobs? These good paying jobs, where are they? Because it sounds like you're trying to build, how you're talking is like you're going to build up a middle class again. But where's that happening? It's not happening. That middle class isn't coming back. Yeah, the only jobs man are going to get is McDonald's jobs, bro. Minimum wage jobs. Right? Because everything, even those jobs, right? I've seen robots in Japan flipping burgers, man. Right? So them jobs, they're not even those jobs are going to be around for much longer. So what is it people are going to be doing? Oh, I wonder what what the answer to that is. Oh, universal basic income. Oh, okay. Digital currency. Oh, okay. Yeah. So when you start connecting dots, it starts to make sense. But people people don't really want to think about that type of future. They think, oh, Trump's not going to do that because Trump was against all these things at one point, but all of a sudden now he's like he's pro, and he's investing millions and billions into all these tech companies that are just about to put you in slavery. you know. So yeah, you need to open your eyes, man. Right, you need to come to the realization that these people are not working for you but against you. Right, they don't care. Okay. So an unwise king destroyeth his people, but through the prudence of them that are in authority, the city shall be inhabited. Right, the power of the earth is in the hand of the Lord, and in due time he will set over it one that is profitable. Right, because contrary to the belief of you Edomites, you are not beneficial to the planet. You are not needed. You're not required. You're not essential for development or progress in the earth, because you're doing the exact opposite. Right. In all honesty, right? You're doing the opposite. Okay, you might lower these certain things you've brought into the earth as if they're something great, but they come with great caveats, man, great downsides, right? That you don't really, obviously, don't want to focus on, right? But the earth could do better without you, man. Real talk, right? And so when it comes to pass, when Yahushua returns and takes your kingdom down, right, puts you in slavery, establishes his brethren, as rulers over the earth, the world is going to be better, right? And people are going to see just how much better it's going to be, right? Right now, the people are skeptical, right? They don't know what a good ruler is. They're skeptical, but Yahushua and the Israelites is what the world needs, right? Yeah, you're going to get your ass bust for 1,000 years. You deserve it, right? But you're going to see how much better off the world is without Esau, right? You're going to be shown how to do things the right way. All right. So yeah, Yahushua is going to come and change all of that, right? So, it's lucky. All right, and this is the last one I'm going to bring for this lesson, right? This is from John 10, right? Because ultimately, what Esau is, he has no allegiances, right? He don't care about people. He's being, say Trump's getting money. Trump's getting paid. All these leaders are getting paid to do a job. And it ain't the job you think they're being paid to do, right? Because you put them in office for them to do you a job, to work for you, to make your lives better. No, they work for the elites, right? They work for the elites. They work for themselves, right? To prosper, to exploit, these positions of power, right? To further their own agendas, right? But for the common person, they're not here for you, right? And this is why, right? John chapter 10 verse 12 says, but he that is a hireling, right? A hireling is someone that gets paid to do something, right? So he that is a hireling and not the shepherd, whose own the sheep are not, right? Trump don't look at, he might be an American, but he don't look at you like him and you are the same. He's an American, but he's a greater American than you are. You're a lower life American. Like, the rich and the poor are two separate things. Right? You call it, you can call it classism or whatever, right? But he sees himself completely different, and the guys that he's around, his realm, his circles, is completely different from the average American. He don't look at you the same, like you're equals. You're not, right? So you're not really his sheep. He don't care what happens to you. He's not here to protect you, look after you. He don't care about that. All right. So he that is a hireling and not the shepherd, whose own the sheep are not, see if the wolf coming and leaveth the sheep. He's purposely leading you into destruction. Right? He's a wolf, right? He's the wolf, right? Seeing the wolf coming and leaveth the sheep and fleeth, and the wolf catcheth them and scattereth the sheep. The hireling fleeth because he is a hireling and careth not for the sheep. Yeah, and that's why you see by all these apocalyptic movies, man, the elites, these rich people, them man are jumping on ships, them man are jumping in bunkers, right? And you gonna have to deal with everything that's going on. You ain't invited. You know, these men will make bunkers, right? These men will make, I'm thinking of 2012. I'm looking at the DVD now, right? Them men built an ark, right, for the wealthy to survive all the judgments and stuff, right? But the average person, bro, they have to deal with the destruction, man. And it's the same way when America gets destroyed, right? The elites are not going to be there. Well, maybe not all of them. Maybe not all of them will escape, but the main ones, the majority of them, they ain't going to be in America, man. They're going to be in bunkers in different parts of the world. They're going to be space stations. They're going to be in submarines or underground water facilities or whatever, right? They ain't going to be in America. But the American people, who is the majority of people, right, in that vast land, in that vast population, they're going to be burnt with fire. Now, who led them there? Their elites led them to that destruction, right? But it's them man that got to pay for it. They're the sacrifice. So these men don't care about their citizens. They're not sheep. They're not things to look after. In fact, they see you as burdens. It says they see you as burdens, man. So they're in power. They don't care. They're not empowered to care about you to make your lives better. They got their own thing going on, man. These men are truly wolves. All right, they don't care. Right, for the hireling fleeth because he is a hireling and careth not for the sheep. Right. So I am the good shepherd and know my sheep and are known of mine. As for the Father knoweth me, even so now I the Father, and they lay down my life for the sheep. Because that's what you'd imagine, right? Or you think you'd expect from someone that's meant to be a ruler over a nation. That they're there to prepared to lay their life down for their people. These men are not noble like that, man. They are not noble like that, man. Trump was already a draft dodger. He ain't prepared to lay his life down for nobody. You know what I'm saying? This isn't like, back in the days where the king went out to fight for his people. Boy, these men don't do that no more. They don't do that no more, man. All right, they send everybody else, right? So they're not your safety, your prosperity is not on the top of their order. Right, like I said, they're employees, man. The elite have employed them to rule over these nations to further their agendas. So they're just gonna make as much money as they can and then duck out. And whatever state the country's in, which is realistically it should be worse because that's the whole point. Right, whatever state the country's in is what the state the country's in, man. But in the meantime, they just make you believe that if they get somebody else in, it will change. But every time we get someone new in, things might get maybe a little bit better for like a short period of time, and then it just goes back to going shit and then becoming worse. It's designed that way, right? So, like I said, these men don't care about you, man, right? And this is what all these people should realize. But some people are, right, and this is what's causing these conflicts and these frustrations in the world, right? All these protests and stuff like that, because some of them are starting to understand, man. Look, these governments are sending you out. They're just making themselves rich, right? While they're siphoning money out of the economy and siphoning money from people, making them poorer. That's what's going on. So people are starting to realize that, but these are the same type of people that, if they're not already, they're going to be deemed as like terrorists and all these different types of things, where it's gonna be looked upon evil for kind of saying these things or asking those questions or whatever and protesting or whatever, right? Because the government don't want all of that. So these men are gonna stamp man out pretty much, or insurgents or whatever, how they run things. But yeah, some people are seeing that, but I said that's exactly what it is, man. These men are here to destroy you. You know, they're getting their money and getting out, right? That's what they're doing. So, I'm gonna end it there anyway. Lord, when this has been edifying, and I'll catch you brothers and sisters on the next video. Until next time, I say shalom.